How is everybody doing? Happy Wednesday, July 23rd. I wanted to bring some music, something calming as we go into such a sensitive show beyond race, gender, and nationality. Big one. Every word, race, gender, nationality. You know, when I was writing this show and I was writing this activation, all I kept thinking about was like, wow, we've been conned so hard. Like, it's the biggest scam of humanity. How we've been separated with labels and separated with names and countries. And it's big. It's big. It's really deeply rooted in our consciousness. It's deeply rooted in our programming. And it's one of the biggest scams of creation, I feel. Well, not of creation, as more of dogma. Dogma came and decided you're going to be this, you're going to be that. That's wrong. If you have this color skin, it's wrong. It's bad. If you're this, if you're a witch, you're evil. If you're a woman, you're a witch. You know, it goes so deep. It's not just gender and race of being a man and a woman, but it's like, what does that mean? Witches used to be burned alive because they were called witches, because they had magic, because they wanted to do good. Men would burn them. They were afraid of them. Slavery over religion, over what somebody believes. Like how, you know, when I really think about how did we get here as a human collective, it blows my mind. And we're going to talk about how we can actually, we did get there and how we are there now as a collective. A lot of people are snapping out of it. A lot of people are waking up like popcorn all over the world. I see this. People are waking up. They're waking up. And they're waking up to their power. They're waking up to their liberation. They're waking up to their superpowers. And suddenly, slowly, we're seeing through the veil of like, oh my God, how did we get here? How did we get here? And even me, I was raised in Israel, went to the military, mandatory. I remember I was such a hippie back then. I'm not that I'm not a hippie right now, more modern hippie, but I remember getting the letter, you know, after I finished high school to go to the military. And I remember telling my mom, like, am I really going? Like, this is so not me. And she's like, yeah, everybody needs to go. Like, this is the programming. This is a small country. If we don't defend it, we won't be here. If we won't be here, we'll go to, like, the Holocaust happened before we were here. So, you know, this is my own personal story around my identity and where I grew up. But every nationality, every country has its own story, its own history. You know, World War I, World War II, the war that we are in now in humanity around consciousness, around information. I already see us as a human in kind of a war already. It's not like what we imagine. Well, some territories are already, you know, going through war, as we know. But everyone online, through information, through AI, like, what is real? What isn't real? What is truth? What isn't truth? And the more I dive deep into this, it's really the truth within self, within our heart, that love is the only truth, like the truth. There's fear and there's love. There's false, like false folly, and there's truth. And the highest truth is the creation within inside of you. It's the highest truth. It's the intelligence of the divine. That is the ultimate truth. And we've been so snapped out of our magic, so snapped out of our consciousness, the highest consciousness throughout everything. Everything is kind of designed to snap it out of us. Fluorescent lights when you go into big supermarkets and when you go to work in like big offices, you know, fluorescent light, they dim your pineal gland. I know that every time I go into a shop, my head starts hurting. And I feel like always when I go, I have to go into like a big store or something. Every time I leave, I feel like I have 50% of my energy every time. And I keep telling myself, like, why do I feel this way? And I know it's the lights. I know it's the fluorescent lights. The toothpaste, fluoride in toothpaste. Fluoride calcifies your pineal gland. They put the fluoride in the water. Junk food is programmed as the best thing ever. You go in America, and every place in America is junk food mania everywhere. Everywhere. This is the thing that everybody goes to, and it's cheap. They make it so easy to you to come eat me, come junk food, come eat me. Everything is kind of made for us to to snap the divinity without us. Men are attacked through porn. Sorry, I'm saying this out loud, but it's true. Like, not just men, women, but I do believe that all these, like, everything that is so available right now and all these sexual sites online. Do you know that when the male ejaculates, it takes his divinity? I mean, he spends his God force energy outwardly. When he keeps it inside, that's when he starts to build his God consciousness. And so, isn't it crazy that everything is so available sexually? Like, think about when I'm talking about race, gender, nationality, the gender thing also. Um, so many things are programmed in those porn sites to really change our consciousness and the way that we see sexuality, where sexuality is such a sacred act of divine love and divine codes. When you share intimacy with another person, you actually share DNA codes. You share everything that you're holding inside. If it's trauma, love, you are exchanging those energies. And so when I think about humanity, I think about all these things are so available today: junk food, porn, yeah, like the toothpaste and everything I just talked about, water, the fluorescent lights, all these I feel like is on purpose to dim our light, to take our God, goddess energies away from us. And those are in the little things. And the big things are passports, nationality, enemies, shaking two different kind of cultures to hate each other in one shape or form, guns, wars, all these bigger issues. And so this is an invitation today to set aside. I feel like it could be triggering for people, this show, because we all come from different cultures, different races, different bloodlines. And just remember that we all have the same color blood and that we're all here together in this human experience. And whatever feelings come up for you today, wherever you are in the world watching this, whoever I reached with this show, and any little point on the earth, know that you're loved. Know that if anything comes up for you, there is no right and wrong. If you're triggered, honor that. If you actually feel that this is awakening something inside of you, if it's pissing you off, or all of it is welcome. I'm just here to share love and share my perspective and my connection to source creation that I channel, bring information through the divine, through writing, through automatic writing. And then I bring it to the show, and then I bring it to do activations with it. And so I'm just sharing what my higher source has been teaching me and showing me, and also what I know as a human from my human experience on this planet so far. It's nice to see people online. I see Andrew, Ariel, and Daya here. It's awesome. Love it. New people, if you're here, let me know in the chat. If this is your first time watching, I would love to know. Thank you for being here and choosing to spend your time and day or evening or night with me. This is very, very important to me, and I appreciate you so much. And also, if you feel inspired, give a like, comment, and share. Every comment, every like, and every subscribe helps me to grow this channel and reach more people with this information. So, quantum identity beyond race, gender, and nationality. And let's transcend those labels, right? So first, I want to share that this art piece that you see with the hands, I made this about 5 years ago. I'm an artist also. And before my awakening, I did photography for many years. I also did studio photography. And so this is a shot that I did I wanted it to be about world peace, where people come together. And I wanted to use the colors of the earth. And so I used child paint. That's just child paint. And it looks like a globe to me, but a globe of people coming together. And so I thought it would be appropriate for the subject today. If you like that print, it is available on my website on Light Scribe Shop, and you can get a little print if you do love it, just letting you know it's out there. Yeah, so that's my art. So just know that there's an artist in me as well. All right. So we are going to do a deep dive into this and letting you know that tomorrow we are doing a new moon activation to work on this subject, to clear and to bring the race, gender, and nationality on a collective energies back into the identity of the divine. We are going to shift all of this collective trauma and the information that has been given to us throughout time and space and what we've experienced as souls and the evolution of our souls on this journey of humanity. If we were human, I mean, we could have been so many different things. And that's the thing, like reincarnation is a very mysterious and auspicious thing. But I know as a fact that it's very real, and there's so many evidence, and so that it's real, and people come back as children and remember crazy things about their past lives, different languages, different, they know where they live, they have the address of the person they used to be. There's just so much information. And so just reminding you that even if we are not experiencing any kind of racism or abuse about gender or nationality or anything like that, if you've never experienced anything like that, it doesn't mean that in a past life you haven't, or in a future life you haven't. We are here to liberate our consciousness, and consciousness is a very quantum identity. It's not just something that we are here carrying with us. And when we are doing this work, we're clearing the collective. It's not just the work. If I'm doing the work on myself, I'm doing it as it's clearing so much in the quantum, and it affects humanity. Same for you. When you participate, when you do this work, when you do the quantum work, it works on the inside out. We're doing it from within, and it affects. I remember one time one person told me, and I shared this many times before, is that when you heal one person, it affects 1 million people around you. Can you imagine how many people that is? When you heal yourself, you heal the collective, and therefore you create a better world. And so that's how I perceive every time we do a healing, every time I do an activation, it touches one soul, and that soul produces that healing and ripples it out into the collective consciousness. So releasing identity of attachments related to race, gender, and nationality. We're clearing programming that causes fear, separation, and emotional protection rooted in trauma. Okay. Now, trauma is born from experience of experiencing any kind of experience that love was not there, right? If love was there, no trauma would have been born. I'm thinking about that now, like when a woman gives birth to a baby, it's coming out of love, but still the baby can have trauma. So I don't know if that's completely, because some people also have intention of love. And then maybe their intention with someone else's experience, they're meeting someone that has trauma. So it can maybe affect them in a different way, even though they had intentions of love. But right now I'm talking about the highest energy of love is an energy, but not intentional between human beings. And trauma, like a collective trauma, for example, like if there's a war is something I feel like I've always contemplated this, because like if I have love within me and I'm doing all this healing, but then I'm in a country and then there's war, is that me reflecting it? I've always had this question and I'm still not clear about it, but is that reflection of me? Or is it just that there's so much more energy about that's surrounding fear that's winning the love? What if I'm just one person? Let's just say an example. I'm one person in a massive country and I'm operating on love, but everybody else is operating on fear. So is that enough? Like, is my love enough to transcend that? Or it has to be in masses, because there's a collective programming, right? So I always went back to this question. And I do think the majority, like when a lot of people meditate, if one person meditates, it's good. But if 2 people meditate at the same time, 3 people meditate, 100 people meditate, 1,000 people meditate at the same time, that creates a stronger energy field. And so as I'm speaking about this, I really do feel that trauma is born more, can be born also on the macro and like our own personal experience, but it also can be experienced from bigger events: the Holocaust, World War II, World War I, slavery. You know, the slavery that happened here in America. Holy moly, that was like what, four? I don't know how many years was that. 400 years? Am I making that up? I think it was a very long time. If somebody can tell me how long, if you can check, please, and let me know how long the slavery here in America before the Civil War happened. I don't know my history, I guess, that well. I don't remember. So if you can tell me, that would be really awesome. But just imagine these big chunks of time, big, long chunks of time of people experiencing these traumas. And so, and then they passed on, right? Their life went on. And then you come back into a new body with the same soul, with the same memory. It's a soul memory. You might not consciously remember, but the soul information, DNA, does remember. And so this is why this is absolutely vital that we also go into these realms. You know, like all these activations that I'm doing have been surrounding identity, about the mother father, the mother wounds, very much in the macro of like what we are going through as individuals in our life and our own patterning and our own love life and our own relationship to self, relationship to other, relationship to love. But we're continuing the journey into the macro right now, which is very, very universal and also macro. Because if you were a slave and chained to a wall for years after years and butchered and, like, I don't know, tortured in a dungeon or something in a past life, that's also the macro of your experience. But it's also collective, because it's a collective programming that caused and created that experience for your soul. Okay. So just kind of want to talk about who is this for, if you're kind of like curious of if this activation is even for you. This activation is for anyone who is ready to release deep identity attachment formed through racial, gender, and national labels. Okay. I know there's a lot going on with gender and transgender and liberation of, you know, the gay community, which I believe everybody should have the right to be who they are and be loved for who they are. And I really want to focus, I want you to focus on knowing that if you had experienced any kind of abuse, racial abuse, if you feel that you maybe, like, I'm come from a Jewish family, so anti-Semitism, or color of your skin, or the language that you speak, all of these things, if you ever experienced any kind of abuse, or people laughing at you, or people calling you names, or being mean to you, or didn't want to talk to you because you're from a certain place, or a certain color, or a certain gender, or your eyes are shaped a certain way, this is something that I really recommend for you to participate, because it will clear all of that pain that you absorbed in this lifetime or other lifetimes. Or if you feel like you've been someone else in a past life, or you died, I don't know, from being a witch or being hanged, even those things are relevant, because that also relates to gender. Like the witch part, where women used to be hanged and tortured as women, that's because of their gender. You didn't see any male witches getting hung, right? Oh, my camera. One moment. Okay. Ooh. All right. Can you see me? Hello. Can you hear me? Something slow down. I'm just going to wait for this to. Let's see. Camera is back, but it's slow. One moment. I'm going to detach it. Okay. Can you hear me? Camera, can you be here? All right. Okay, you can hear me still. Just give me a 5 by 5 if you can hear me, and I'll continue the journey. All right. So for anybody else, so that's first of all race, racial, gender, national labels, collective and ancestral trauma. I know that really is for me, for instance, coming from a background where I grew up in a home where everything was talked about the Holocaust, like, and it wasn't that long ago. That's the thing. The Holocaust, for instance, for those of you who are coming from a Jewish background, it wasn't that long ago. What, 80 years ago? A little over 80 years ago? That's nothing. Like, to even think, sometimes I even like think of how not long ago that was, and like that people could, like, video cameras still worked, like there's evidence. And so and there's a lot of people in Israel now, they're all dying off, but when I grew up there was still people talking, people that were survivors of the Holocaust were still alive. And holy moly, like that's why, and this is where it's like crazy, because it happened. And then in Israel, I don't know if you know this, but every year they remind you there's a Holocaust Day, and then they start showing you the videos. You can't watch anything else but programs on the television about the Holocaust. That's what they show you all day, and they teach you all day. And they do this because they don't want you to forget. They don't want you to forget because they don't want it to happen again, which makes sense. But on the other hand, every time they're showing this, they're programming you to remember that you could die because of your nationality, because you're a Jew, because your bloodline. And it's just it's a vicious cycle between, like, okay, we don't want to forget because we want to honor our ancestors. And then there's also, like, to continue the cycle and the memory of this repeating pattern. It's just like this endless loop. How do we get out of it? How do we forget? How do we, like, not give it life anymore and continue to live without this collective trauma? And this is just one example out of things that are happening all over the world. For me, it's easy to talk about that because that's what I was raised into. But I'm sure that Japan and Russia and China and all these other places, everywhere there was war, there's their own stories and their own ways of doing things, right? So this is very much the collective and ancestral trauma. So if you feel that you fall into that category, oppression, separation, and inherited belief systems, which is basically all of us. I feel like all of us are, indoctrinated into separation and belief systems. Everything is a belief system, and we're all programmed into a certain belief system through school, through history books, through radio, whatever they tell us on the like when we watch the news. All of it is one huge big program. Okay. Religious and cultural program that created shame or division, which is about the same thing. An internalized feeling of unworthiness tied to body, identity, or belonging. And this, I know, unworthiness tied to body. I know that a lot of people that are in the gay community and the what do they call it? The pride community, they might experience those feelings of unworthiness. Maybe they were born into a female body and feeling like a male, or the opposite, born into a male body and feeling like they're a woman, or any of these experience where none of it should feel unworthy. None of it should feel shame. We're all here to be in the heart of love and honor each other. And yeah, and just honoring each other as a human species and wherever we're at. And I know that also goes into different streams of identity, but I'm talking in a very generalized right now energy of this, like, gender unworthiness or gender shame. I don't believe in shame. I believe that everybody should be celebrated for their body, for their desires, for their feelings inside, for how they feel in their human body. Everything should be celebrated with love. And that might trigger some people when I'm saying that right now, and we all have our opinions. But if we can all just drop the freaking opinions, just like drop it, drop your opinions, drop them, drop your judgment. This is what we need right now as a collective human race. We need to drop the judgments, like, on each other. If you are a straight man and when you see gay man and then it triggers you, like work on that. Like leave the person alone. And vice versa. If you're a gay man and you straight people piss you off, let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Like we need to let it go, right? Also, if you were born into a darker skin body and somebody with a lighter skin body pisses you off because of something that happened in the past, forgive it, let it go. Vice versa. Like we just need to transcend these energies. It's time to let it go. It's just time to let it go. And there's so much pain in the past. I remember living in New Orleans. I lived in New Orleans for 3, 4 years. I love New Orleans. Like I really do. And I also felt fear sometimes for my life for being white, you know, or being Jewish. Also, I had some anti-Semitism experiences there. Not many, but some. And yeah, it really teaches you. You know, sometimes I forget that there's people that really operate on that consciousness, the separation consciousness. And when you meet that, it's a very interesting experience because you're like, whoa, I don't even know how we got here as a human race. Like for me, it blows my mind sometimes. So if any of these things that I'm talking about touches you or you feel resonant or you feel like you know someone that may benefit from this activation to clear this ancestral trauma, to clear the trauma if they were abused or if they are going through difficulties around gender, race, and nationality, please let them know about this. Okay, so how fear creates identity, which is the biggest weapon. Fear is the biggest weapon because when you are in a fight or flight in your body, when you are actually experiencing fight or flight and what happens to your body when you're in fear? Do you know? You contract or your body like goes into like there's this thing that happens to your body that like it's a somatic experience where everything starts to be alert. And when you're in that fight or flight moment, you are so perfect to be programmed. You're like the perfect subject to insert information into your subconscious and program you to whatever the other wants from you. Yeah? Fear puts you in a lower vibrational state in the body, and then you become a sponge for control. You're so juicy and ripe for control when you are in fear. Just let that sink in. So when you watch something on the news, look at this image. I love it because it's like, this is how I see the World War III. Basically, everything is bombarded online. Everything that we see online is like, just like what's real, what isn't. We don't, I keep saying this, but I don't even know if what we're watching on the news is real people anymore. Like, are they clones? Are they real people? Or like, how would we know if anything that we watch now from 10, 20 years from now is going to be real with all this AI stuff, unless somebody's there. And it's super easy to put people in fear. You just tell them a story, tell them something that they are afraid of, which is basically afraid of for their life. COVID is a good example, right? People were afraid for their life, stay at home. So things for that is what, like, the fear is basically the biggest way, the most profound way to put you into a state of control. So the body, mind, and soul create identity through love of another, rooted in fear of oppression when the heart is experiencing the body in fear. So when your heart is in fear, you are the perfect subject to put oppression into you, to program oppression and fear into your identity. The body responds with fear when love thyself all is denied through separation. Okay? So like when you're not in that consciousness of love thyself all is a consciousness where, when I say love thyself all, I like to think about it as an integrated being of shadow and light. When you know yourself, you know your shadow, you know your light. You know who you are. Your love thyself all. You know who you are. There's nothing that can take you out or shake you out of your truth of who you are, because you know thyself. You know thyself and you love thyself. And when you know who you are and you love who you are, it's going to be really hard to convince you otherwise that you're something else. Like if somebody told you all the time, you're the color blue, and you're like, no, I'm not. I'm the color orange. No, you're the color blue. And from a young age, they've been telling you you're a color blue, and you believe at some point that you're a color blue. One day you'll wake up and be like, oh, wait a minute, but I'm orange. If you can actually see that you're orange, you will never be able to take that away from you anymore, because you know you're orange. But if you're not sure of yourself, if you're not in love thyself all, and somebody kept telling you you're blue, you're blue, you're blue, you're blue, and you weren't strong enough in yourself, you may not ever snap out of that blueness because you are not strong within your being. So the same thing with love thyself all. When you are in fear, when your body responds with fear, when love thyself all is denied through separation. Okay. So it is easier for you to be programmed in fear when you are in separation of self and separation of the collective, of the people, your human race, your human family. When one is in denial of love thyself all, the body, mind, and soul become susceptible to control and experience separation as a form of protection. This is where it gets dangerous. Attempting to ignite love within the heart. So, for example, there's a war in Israel, and everybody is in the consciousness of the Holocaust, right? So there's the Holocaust. We were killed. We were really, they wanted to completely wipe out the Jewish people completely. But not just in the Holocaust, also in Egypt, so much slavery, right? And I'm bringing this example because it's easy for me. So what happens now when there's a war? We're using that separation. We're separated from them. They want to kill us. So we need to protect ourselves in order to be protected. We need to, protect our people that we love through war or whatever that's trying to kill us. We need to protect ourselves. So it's coming from a place of love. That's the absurd, is that when people are, let's say, in war, they are willing to hurt another person at this point because they were hurt in the past and they find it as a protection. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. There is a sense of self-defense, but that self-defense from the beginning comes from a place of the separation. So it's like a cycle that doesn't end. It's like a never-ending cycle, because it's separation over separation over separation, like the Nazis and the Jews and the Germans and the Jews, like separation. To even think that, like, oh, this person has a belief and it's bad, so we have to like mass produce death with all of these people because of what they believe in. It's absurd to me. I don't even know how this. It's like the biggest scam of life. I really, it blows my mind on a conscious level. Like when I think about it really deeply, it just blows my mind. But that created more separation in the future, right? Israel has this country right now that keeps them protected. And now, like, there's just so much hatred still around. And so they have to, like, make sure that they're safe. And it's coming from a place of protection and attempting to ignite love within the heart, which in actuality, it creates more problems. And it's what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like really hard to say. It's very complex. I'm not saying that these issues are very easy to, we're talking about it now, right, on a podcast, and this is all very much complex because so many people lost their loved ones and so many people have traumatic experience, and so it's like a chain of events. But when do we cut it? When do we actually cut the trauma? When do we change it? When do we transcend it? When does it end? And my answer to that is it ends with us. It has to end with a decision to go deep within and liberate ourselves from all of this crap. Excuse my French, pardon my French, all of this crap that we've been taking on for so many lifetimes and all these experiences. of our generation and lineage and lineages, wherever you are in the world, whatever nationality or gender that you carry, whatever race you carry, we hold it within our DNA, and we hold it within our soul memory and in our physical body. And some of it is from this lifetime, and it becomes a very somatic physical experience. And that's what I'm talking about here, is like when our body becomes in this fear state, we are susceptible to think that we are doing the right thing in order to protect our loved ones. Easier said than done. And I don't have the complete solution how to actually transcend that when people are actual in danger. But my only solution that I can offer is to do at least the energetic works around it. And the more of us that we do it, the more that we go deeper into our subconscious and liberate ourselves from these places, is the bigger shifts we're going to see in the collective. The energy between the heart and the mind is shaped by programming held in the mind, body, and heart. This programming often comes from past trauma and generational trauma stored in the heart chakra, particularly experiences related to hatred, which is a big word and a big energy, separation, religion, and racism. Wow. Just reading that, like I'm going to read that again. Particularly experiences related to hatred, big word, separation, religion, and racism. Just saying those words makes my whole heart go like this. It's just like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's all in the nervous system. So the body, mind, and soul remember imprints of the heart related to the past. It's a memory that's very physical, even if it's from a past life. The body, mind, and soul remember imprints of the heart related to the past experiences of all of these traumatic experiences that you might have experienced. And as a result, the body often functions as a means of protection for the heart. These protective responses can also hold limiting beliefs about love and the heart of the Almighty. The heart of the Almighty is the heart of the mother, father of consciousness, the heart and the mother, father of creation, the heart of the Almighty. It's our connection to our heart here, but the connection to the mother, father cosmos of everything that is. And when we have these fear-based beliefs and dogmatic beliefs around race, gender, and nationality, and we use them for protective states to protect our heart and protect love and protect everything that we care about, it creates distortion in the heart of the Almighty, which is the divine love of all that is, which is, expansive love, the highest octave energy of love that there is. The heart of the Almighty, which is the cosmic mother love in your heart, the cosmic mother father in your heart, and the cosmic love in your heart, does not recognize right or wrong based on gender, race, or religion. It just doesn't. It's all consuming in its devotion to love. It does not require separation to feel love, nor does it need to become another to be loved. And when I say to become another, I mean like to be part of a group, part of a group of a country, like a nationality or a religion or a cult or whatever. It doesn't need to be part of anything else in order to be loved, because it just is love. That is the innate birth right. And anything else that isn't this innate love is a freaking lie. It's false. It's fear. It's programmed. It's indoctrinated. A child doesn't come out of the mother womb and starts killing people, starts like biting people and eating people. No, it wants to go and it wants to be nurtured by the mother. It wants hugs. It wants kisses. We're innately born to love. Children, when they are born, babies, when they're born, look at their behavior. They're helpless. They just want to be loved and cuddled and giggle and yeah, they cry. Okay. But they also giggle and they're here to love. We're here to love. This is what we're here to do. Everything else that's been programmed, anything different than love, is a program, because we're innately made to love. Here's another art piece that I made. I'm having fun with this because I don't really show my art from the past, or I should start showing more of my art. But this is a heart mudra, and I did the whole series with paint and mudras. Also on lightscribeart.com. There's Lightscribe Shop and Lightscribe Art. If you want to find these prints, which are really beautiful, you can go to Lightscribe Art, which is directly for prints. And you'll find the gallery, the Mudra gallery, and you can find all the other beautiful art pieces that I created. I had so much fun with this. I think it's such a beautiful line. Maybe I'll make more in the future. Just like painted hands and mudras, and had so much fun with it. So here's another one related to love. And all right, so this allows the body, mind, and soul to heal on all levels of the heart that ignite union within. That inner union, which is, when I say inner union, if that's not clear to everybody, inner union is we have all masculine and feminine polarity within our heart. Our body is electric, and it's running through a plus and minus electrical field, the Kundalini energy in the body. And it merges in the heart. And the heart is the portal to our divine God, goddess self. And we all have both, the God, goddess self within. So when the heart of the Almighty comes online, it allows the body, mind, and soul to heal on all levels of the heart that ignite union within. And that inner union supports the healing of identity through love of self, meaning you don't need the identity of the other or religion or any other gender, nationality to tell you who you are. Who you are is love thyself. Who you are is the heart of the Almighty. That is who you are. You are love. And this is what creates healing on the planet through the frequency of love thyself all. When we all connect to this heart of the Almighty, we start healing the planet and bringing a higher frequency into the realm of love, into the earth plane, into people. And that is where we want to be as a human collective. We want to thrive in love. The heart knows how to heal identity through love of self. When the energy of oppression is transformed by the love of the divine, of love thyself all, right? Heart knows how to heal the identity through love of self. The heart knows how to heal. Once we release the programming, we release the shame, we release the guilt, we release all the collective trauma that we have absorbed as a human race from complete program and dogma. Our heart remembers to love. That's it. Its innate state wants to love. And everything that is birthed into consciousness, into like this reality that we live in, that's coming from a place of fear, is really just a lack of love. If we were in a love state, we wouldn't, if we were so rooted in our love, we wouldn't even be in fear. We wouldn't be able to be controlled at all. If you are in your love energy and it's so powerful and you're rooted in your love, you wouldn't be able to be programmed. You probably wouldn't be able to even be in fear. You know, there's like this, you remember that like video of this Buddhist monk in New York that is sitting in a very, very busy street in New York, and he's just like sitting there, and everybody's rushing, rush, like everybody's rushing somewhere. Everybody has somewhere to go, and this Buddha is just sitting there and like meditating on the street. Nothing bothers him. That is love thyself all. Yeah, that's the energy. Have that vision in your head. That is where we want to aim to go as a human collective, is that no matter if the world is falling apart, we're able to be in this love of self with God creation, with the cosmic mother, father, and be in that state of peace within. That's the goal. That is the goal. So the activation tomorrow, which is timed on this new moon, is divided to two parts. It's all going to be in one activation. It's not going to be two activations, but the activation is divided to two pieces. One, healing the heart chakra from past life trauma. So the heart is what's the word that I'm looking for? It's the treasure chest. It's the Akash. Okay, let's use the word Akash. If you don't know what the Akash is, it's like the cosmic record of everything that ever happened in humanity. Okay, so the Akash heart, let's call it the Akashic heart, where information and memory is stored in the heart. The heart is like a brain. And so we're going to be going into the heart, into this memory brain, and we're going to be clearing information that is energetically stored, imprinted on your heart. Do a quantum healing on it. Pull out things that don't serve us, things that have caused us trauma, distress, fear, anger, separation, abuse, things that we've been abused with, and remove that shock and trauma and that information from the heart while keeping the honor and the memory of our ancestors. We're not completely deleting everything because we still want to honor our ancestry and we want to honor what our loved ones went through before us. We're not going to delete all of that. We are just going to remove the energetic pain and information from the heart while honoring our ancestry. And releasing, the second part is releasing identification with race, gender, and nationality. So anything that is related to race, gender, and nationality that is distorted in our field, we're going to be removing, replacing with unconditional love and bringing in divine codes of the heart of the Almighty to replace this distorted programming around race, gender, and nationality. Yeah? Okay. Key points are clearing inherited identity constructs, releasing collective and ancestral trauma, embracing oneness, heart of the Almighty, beyond physical form. It really is a quantum world that we're entering to when we do these activations, because it really is beyond physical form. These are collective memories and collective information and DNA actually going into the DNA on an energetic level and just start to rewire how we are, how we operate, how we behave, how we react, how we think. But from a place of love, it really is a wonderful shift. You know, let's say maybe you do have a problem with a race or with a certain gender, or maybe you are homophobic, or maybe you don't like people with certain skin color. Maybe you don't like white people. Maybe you don't like people with darker skin tone. Maybe you still have some of that. I know that okay, I'm not going to talk about my parents, but I know I was raised with all kinds of like programming also in my own home that I was born into, you know, coming from a place where we're surrounded by enemies. So if you're surrounded by enemies, you learn that that's your enemy. So we all have something in there towards the other that we learned somewhere, that we experienced somewhere. Maybe you were beat up by someone that had a certain skin color, and then you ended up hating them for the rest of life and built a story that they're all like that. Like, who knows? Could be the smallest experience in high school that created a whole story that shifted everything for you. So this is where we go in and start to correct, to bring harmony, to bring love into those places. Embracing oneness beyond physical form, which is the quantum, and healing distortions related to body, belonging, and self-worth. You know, I really had an issue when I was younger about belonging. I think this needs to go up a little bit. Okay, down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, like belonging, feeling that I belong. I always was navigating between America and Israel because I was born in America, but then moved to Israel, but then never felt I never felt, but the truth is I never felt at home anywhere. And I think it's because of this cosmic universe. I feel like I'm not really from Earth in a lot of ways. And so I feel like I've never really felt settled anywhere in the world. And that's why I moved around a lot. And I feel like a lot of starseeds have the same experience. But also this would bring, I do believe that working on the belonging, and where the belonging is actually in your heart. My mom, I remember having a conversation with her when I was maybe my late 20s maybe. And I was navigating going between America and Israel all the time. I used to work in the States, but lived there. That was my home base. And I never felt at home. And I was very confused. It was very hard for me to leave my family behind. And my mom one time told me, you know, your heart is your home. It's not here. It's not there. It's not America. It's not Israel. It's your heart. And wherever you are, you're always going to be home. And at that time, I had never heard that before in my 20s. Like nobody's ever said that to me. And it gave me a sense of relief because, you know, I'm like, you know what, Mom? That really resonates with me. I'm going to take that for the rest of my life. And here we are talking about gender, race, and nationality in the heart of the Almighty. And it's basically that my mom knew all along. The heart of the Almighty, that connection in your heart to source creation will be your forever home. And that forever home needs to be tended to with love. You need to fertilize that soil. You need to put sunshine in there. You need to water it. You need to fertilize the seeds, the garden to flourish. And so this is what we're doing. We are releasing the weeds. We're taking out all the weeds that have been placed in our heart, things that are not ours, pulling it out, making the soil fertilized for the heart of the Almighty to grow beautiful flowers, beautiful divine flowers that smell like heaven, and creating that kingdom of heaven within our heart. And so I feel like these are very intense energies. Gender, race, nationality, these are really indoctrinated energies that we need to give attention to. And we're doing it tomorrow. I know I'm doing this show on the day before, kind of letting my feminine energy run the show in the past week. When I say feminine energy can be very unstable sometimes. And I feel like I've been going through a lot of emotions, but here I am talking about it. It's happening tomorrow. Quantum identity beyond race, gender, and nationality. The new moon, which is really powerful, new moon in Leo, Thursday, July 24th, 6 p.m. EST. We have a sale going on tonight until midnight. We are selling the entry for $33. If you are experiencing any difficulty financially and you want to participate, please email contact@deepintuitivehealing.com. Nobody will be turned away from the activation because of finances. Please, if you feel called, please reach out to us and we will work something out. And if you feel generous, there's also a sliding scale. If you feel like you want to put more, every energy exchange that you share with me allows me to sit and create content, allows me to sit and channel and bring this information into the collective and work with you and do these activations with you. And I appreciate every generosity and every energy exchange that you have to share with me. And so until midnight tonight, and that's midnight Hawaii time. So just think about 24 hours from now, which is probably 7 p.m. EST almost, will be $33. And after that, it goes back to $44. All right. Healing sessions. If you feel called to work with me, go to contact. Let me see if I can pull it up. If you go to deepintuitivehealing.com, can you see that? Cool. First, on my page on deepintuitivehealing.com, you can see that the activation is on the front page right here. And also there's going to be a link up below this show that you can enter and very easily to sign up. Also private sessions. If you go to the offerings on private sessions, if you don't know what session you want to do with me, you can always book a discovery call. And there's a full body chakra point energy scan, which can scan 42 points in your body to see where you have energy blocks. And then I can put you on a program of the 42 chakra point to bring those energy points back to balance. And there's wonderful sessions here that you can look through and see what works for you. And again, if you don't know what to choose, just go to the discovery call. Yay. And if you haven't already, give a like, subscribe, and share. Share this information with others. It helps me grow my channel. Write something on the bottom. Write down if you've had an experience with any kind of race, gender, nationality experiences in your life that brought any kind of program or any way of thought thinking into this world, into the way you think today, and how you think this can shift that or clear that. You're welcome to share with everybody. All right. We made it. We made it through the show. I am so grateful for you for being here. And yeah, below, remember, you got the links here, right here underneath the show, to sign up for the new moon activation tomorrow. And we're doing another show. I'm doing another show on Tuesday. I'm not going to do a show on this Friday because we already did 2 shows this week. Tuesday, I'm going to do a triune bundle session for free for somebody from the crowd. So stick around. I know you guys liked it. I basically will choose someone from the audience, from the chat, to channel a divine avatar name for you, channel a sigil that is tailored for your own physical body and mental body and emotional body, to bring your specific body back to balance and receive collective messages from the divine. And so that would be a gift for someone from the audience. So hope you can make it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bless me with your presence. Bless us with your presence for the collective healing that this is. Thank you for being here today. Mahalo nui loa. Bless your body. Bless your journey. Bless your soul. You're so, so loved. Thank you so, so much for being here.